Hi, it's Bravo21 here, glider pilot and sim developer. Today I'm flying the Discus 2 18-meter standard class glider, no flaps, and I'm going to fly it around the same 110 kilometer task. You know, I test all the gliders in. It's kind of the same weather. In fact, I'll just pop it up if you want to see what I've done. Just one layer of cloud, the other two are zeroed out. I zero them out by doing coverage 0, density 0, scatter 0. That just gets and make the height, bottom and top heights the same. So the main layer here is the settings you see here. 40% coverage. I increase the density. That just makes the clouds look a bit darker. I find them a bit translucent in any case. And so 40% scatter, 40% coverage, 50% scatter. And then I basically give them cloud bottoms of 5,300, which doesn't mean 5,300 is something higher than that by maybe 1,500 feet, and 1,400 foot tops, which means they don't really go up to that height either. They're going to be lower than that. And then the wind, I consistently do this for my testing, is on the ground 4 knots from the west, and I don't have any gusts. Okay, so I've flown pretty much all the gliders I've worked with around this flight, and I've set it to the middle of August in the middle of the day, 1:30 local time. Okay, this is actually take 3, so these videos are getting a little bit shorter. You know, I have to say it is extremely well modeled glider. The attention to detail is great. I've got a slight glitch with mine. My Bravo21 was appearing there on the first video, and but I've restarted the flight twice, and it's not appearing there. It would be normal for the competition number to appear on the fin of a glider. There'd be a great big Bravo21, or as big as you can get it, on there on both sides. It would be normal for the registration of a glider. The glider kind of speaks for itself. Fantastically well modeled. Hard to beat, I think. So inside the cockpit, you will have seen other reviews of this glider, and will have all said the same thing. It's extremely well put together. I'm just kind of getting the hang of the instruments. They're a little bit quirky in some ways. I am going to set this McCready, which is saying as a percentage. Normally that would be the height. You'll see it displayed on this variometer here. It's saying what height, what lift strength do you think the climbs are going to be? And I think they're going to be 3 knots. So, and there's a trick here, which is where you can just make the click points bigger. It doesn't actually have to be the knob itself. It can be just a transparent box you put around the box, and it could stick out all the way out to there, and it'd make it much easier to hit with the mouse. There you go. 3 knots. If you can see, this little blue arrow has gone up to 3 knots there. So I'm saying I'm expecting climbs of 3 knots. With a bit of luck, it's going to take that into account. With I'm not so worried about what speed I should be flying at. I can do that anyway. But if this thing's calculating arrival heights, it needs to know how fast I'm going to fly. So we're pointing west. The wind is from the west. We'll be taking off straight into it. And I'm going to do a winch launch. Ballast is this knob here, 100%, which is great. It is got to be somewhere, I guess, for ballast. There wouldn't really be a fill my plane up knob. And I'm assuming I'm going to click on this knob down here to open the water ballast, which I shall try and remember to do before we come into land. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to check the brakes and close the canopy. Then I'm going to take the defaults for the winch launch. It's easier with the cloud. When you have these clouds here, it's easier to keep the launch straight. I'm not sure exactly what I'm looking at. Oh, balls. That is twice in a row that happened. Auto, it just said something in red. And we're at what? The altimeter's upside down at what I'm used to. 1,700 feet, which is not bad for a winch launch. Well, the airfield's at 500, so we got 1,200 feet, which is a bit sucky for a winch launch. I was probably going up too steep, but I wasn't sure what indicator was going to be telling me what's what. But we should find some lift. We'll see if we can get away with it. I don't want to do a third launch. That was my third launch. So I'm not hearing the Vario, which I do know is this knob here. Not sure why I'm not hearing it. It was beeping before the flight started, just on the ground. I'm going with Netto on the left-hand Vario. I'm beginning to regret my choice of filling up with ballast. I should have been looking over there to check I'm not going to hit anything. There's the airfield. That's Husbos. Great place. There's a distinctive lake just as dead ahead now, which the instructor there told me they call it Stengun Lake, but I don't think they do really. But if they do, somebody can correct me. So we're getting the Netto certainly reading good lift. Let's keep an eye on the Vario and see if I am in fact climbing. I don't know why I'm not getting any Vario sound. Battery? Is there a battery switch somewhere? If there was, that Vario wouldn't be working. Okay, no, the battery was on. See? Okay, hear the Vario? Oh, that fixed it. Yeah, we're good. Oh, that's better. You see, if you're not used to flying gliders, that sound is probably annoying. But if you are used to flying gliders, it's great. It's a happy sound. Alright, I'm going to fly properly now. So I'm going to trim back a little bit because I'm thermaling. I think that trim was very slow. Or is it down there? Yeah, that's incredibly slow. Basically with the trim you don't have to make a jump of 1 on each event. If it's going to move that slowly, you can make it jump, do 5 per on each update. You shift it by 5 instead of shifting it by only 1. Plane is climbing great. Handling is lovely. I can lift the gear up. The sound's been nicely done. You heard the sound change. I can get this off winch control. It could do that on a little timeout, because that winch control screen is obviously to help simmers. If it knows you've pinged off, it could just delay 8 seconds or less and then automatically click back to the nav panel. Pulling the trim back. There, I've just reset my custom view. Left is good, straight ahead's good. Okay. This task has a 4,000 foot start. Pretty good, eh? Look at that. So we're at 3,500 feet, i.e. Whatever that is, 3,000 foot above the airfield. Airfield's down there, you can just see the end of it. This task is entirely thermals, which is better for testing the flight model of gliders with than storming down a ridge. Alright, so we're coming up to 4,000 feet, which is going to be the height limit. I'm going to set this to start. Oh. Oh. Okay, it doesn't want me to... Let's see how we get on. Okay, the airport's that is. Yep. There's the airport down there. Can you see just beneath the wing? The start line is just the other side of that. What do we have? We haven't got to 4,000 feet yet. Wouldn't surprise me if this is the only climb we take. There's plenty of lift around. When I said, first of all, Microsoft's been generous with it. We'll see. I'm going to call that Stengun Lake. There's Stengun Lake in the background. So that's 4,000 feet. I'm going to still take a bit more lift, bit more climb. You can tell the lift is capped. So there are thermals. Anybody that asks, are there thermals? Is there lift in Microsoft Flight Simulator? The answer is absolutely yes. It's not finished. They're going to do work on it, but it's already a very good implementation. You can tell the lift is capped at about 2.5 meters a second, or 5 knots, in terms of the movement of the air. You can tell that when you look at the analysis of your track logs. I'm collecting a track log now, and I'll be able to look at it afterwards. But you can see the climb rate is going to be very constant because we're basically hitting the limit that's been put into the sim at the moment. but it still makes for perfectly reasonable British gliding weather. You've got to be able to, if with lift like this, you've got to be able to get around a task in the UK, otherwise you'll never get around one. Okay, so we're at 4,300. There's the airfield there. You can see we're quite a bit higher. Okay, we're going to do a start in a sec. And then we'll be off. I shall trim forward, which is a fairly slow process. There we go. And we are pre-start, so there's no reason to zoom around at all. So we're at 4,400 feet, and I'm going to use that extra 400 feet. I'm just flying under the clouds. At the moment I want to go slightly further over to the left here, but I'm just staying with the clouds a little bit on the guess that there's a bit more lift under there. I'm guessing wrong at the moment. See, these instruments, if you look at glider panels, they're typically pretty crowded because the instruments only just fit. And gliding instruments only come in two sides, well, not only, but the standard sizes for dials is either 90mm, which is what you would assume this would be, or 57mm. So I'm assuming this is a 57mm Vario. I think in reality, most of the dials, when you look at them, the major dials will all be the same size, and the Vario is so important that you want it up there. You know, a decent chunky Vario. There's no reason to make it the smallest instrument on the panel, and so let's see how we're doing. Dead ahead here is Bruntingthorpe. This is actually there's a runway right on the nose. That is the last waypoint in this 110 kilometer flight. So we'll be coming back this way. We'll be coming from Coventry over there somewhere. I'm trying to see on this nav instrument where it's pointing me towards the stars. I'm not going to lie, I can't see where it's directing me to the start line. Ooh, okay, we're in good shape. Okay, I'm going to fly, because how far away are we? We're in miles, 2.6 miles. I know the start is off to my left, but then the first leg is off in that direction. So I want to be over to the right here. So I'm only at 4,000. Oh no, I'm at 3,800 feet. Oh well, might as well just get going. Not an optimal start by a huge stretch. Let's see how we get on. Just using this climb. I'm using the lift here to accelerate rather than climb. You can see me keeping the height just below 4,000 because the height limit on the start is 4,000. So what's happening is this climb energy is going into our speed. Oh, it's already clicked over to Sywell. I don't think I haven't started yet. Or have I? I don't think I've started yet. Oh well. Maybe I did. Okay, we'll take some lift here. So I'm going to be dolphin flying. I reckon I'll be able to get around this task just dolphin flying with this kind of lift around. Which means I'm going to slow up each time there's lift and I want to speed up when there's not. Yeah, so this left-hand gauge is doing a good job of showing netto. So I think that's what it will be. See, it's reading around 0. Even though I'm clearly not doing 0. And you'll see my dolphin flying will keep the height. We'll do a reasonable job of keeping some height. I am all over the place. I'm going to head for this darker looking cloud that's in front of us. Just trimmed forward. Oh yeah, so off to my left, if you can just see, I don't know, 45 degrees off to the left, there's a reservoir there, Pittsford Reservoir, and the waypoint we're going to is just the other side of that. So I'm zigzagging down that course at the moment, but I'm trying to head to where the lift is. And that 390, I've just realised that 399 feet is the height of the airfield at Sywell, not the arrival height. I am going to change to that because that does have the Sywell arrival height above mean sea level there. See, waypoint altitude is kind of interesting, but nowhere near as interesting as arrival height. Ideally you'd have both. Okay, let's take a bit of height. This is as slow as I can fly. I'm carrying ballast. I'm doing just a little bit over 50 knots. I would expect this glider to stall pretty if I pull the stick back much further than this. See, I'm not heading towards the waypoint as much as I'd like, but we're getting consistent lift as I'm flying along, and I'm heading roughly in the direction of the waypoint. Okay. There's a small technical detail as well, which is the wind is from the west. It's 8 knots roughly at altitude. I think that's the number on the display down here. I think that's the wind. And a downwind waypoint, it's worth getting there high, because the climbs you've taken, it's assuming you slowed down for those climbs. You either stopped or circled in it, or you just flew really slowly. That pays off better if you're running downwind, because the wind is carrying you towards your waypoint. Oops, let's get a better lift here. The wind is carrying you towards your waypoint anyway. So on a like-for-like basis, see, like me pulling up now and just flying really slowly, that is more beneficial on a downwind leg than it is on an into wind leg. But either way, if you can just dolphin fly and keep pointing in the direction you're going, but get a climb at the same time, you're in pretty great shape at that point anyway. But certainly circling in a thermal, you're really trying to do it on the downwind legs and not so much on the upwind legs. I don't know. I think I'll use that pointer. That is an airfield there. Probably sidewell. Okay, 1 mile to go. Yeah, this has clicked me over a mile away from the waypoint, and my task is set assuming 500 meter waypoint. So I'm just going to keep going a little bit and try and make sure I go into the zone. So it's clicked me over to the next waypoint. which is Newnham Grounds airstrip. So let's go. I'm immediately looking at the clouds here to try and work out what we've got in front of us. So you don't want to fly, if you can see off to my left here, there's a plane just up there. You don't want to fly out through a great big blue hole, because if the air was rising there, all things being equal, you're going to get cumulus in there if there's cumulus everywhere else. So that's not a good sign at all. And we're now going 45 degrees off track, which is more than I'd like. If you look at it, so we're at 3,800 feet. Went through the start at less than that, I think. So we haven't lost any height at all. So we're doing fine. I'm just hoping there's going to be lift under these clouds. Which are disappearing fast. I'm going to have to go out into the blue at this rate. So I'm going significantly, we're not going very far, I'm going significantly off track off to the right hand side here. Let's go under, see that one there. What's that? Cloud just disappeared. So I'll follow down the edge here. I really like the way this glider handles. It's really nice. Got a weight to it. Not too bouncy. It is full of ballast. Yeah, I do think these things on the panel could have been made larger. We could have just simply used 90mm instruments for the big ones. The radio normally is a 57mm instrument. And this like tiny writing there with all this black, so there's tons of space on this panel. So there's no reason for that to be as tiny as it is. The airfield will be over there somewhere. Maybe under where that cloud shadow is. The huzz was that we took off from. See, we've still got a bit of a blue hole to the left, but we're doing fine. I'm pulling up here. I'm wrong. It's what's called anticipating the bounce. I know these clouds are in front of us. But we'll see if there's lift there or not. I was kind of getting ahead of it and pulling up already. Here we go. The waypoint's over there somewhere. You can see I'm just going via, there's this other cloud in front of us as well. And I'm going to have to go seriously over to the left. But this lift would be silly to throw it away, I think. But as soon as this ends, I'm going to turn and speed up a lot and go to the left. Okay, let's go. So 6.5 miles to go. The town dead ahead is Daventry. I think it's Northamptonshire. I wasn't sure whether I believed this lift or not, but it is there. We might get another bump as we go under these clouds just here. This plane's very nice to fly. It's nice not having the flaps as well, just a bit more relaxing. Well, it's got fantastic performance as it is. Nice audio work. Just the plane in general, the wind sounds, the vario's great. .8 miles, and I think this is going to click over as soon as it goes below 1 mile. But I'm working on a 500-meter radius. Yeah. Next stop, Coventry, over to the right there somewhere, which is an international airport. I don't want to turn too soon because I don't want my scoring in the task planner to say I didn't make the turn point. Okay, here we go. So that was an interwind leg. This will be another interwind leg. Let's see what we're looking at here. Yeah, we can do this. Look at that cloud right in front of us. I could go that way. Yes, this hasn't been, I don't think it's been worth this detour. We'll see how we get on in the blue for a bit. So 3,400 feet. We're going to get round, but I might have to stop and circle at this rate. That's the town of Rugby off to our right. I don't remember what the lake's called, this right in front of us. You can see I'm flying nowhere near as aggressively now, 75 knots, because I've just burned through 1,000 feet of altitude. I haven't seen the airport yet, Coventry. It's on the nose. Maybe it's that light patch we can see just above the flam. Oh, I just realised I've zoomed in on the picture, which is a bit of a cheat, isn't it? Yeah, that'll be the airport. I was looking to see if this has got a power button on it. I'm resisting the temptation to take a climb before the waypoint, even though we're getting lower. Because this is an interwind leg. So if I could just get round it and then take a climb if we need one, that'll be a lot quicker than taking us circling in 8 knots and being drifting backwards. What are we at? 2,600 feet. Okay, 1 mile to go, so the nav panel's just going to click over. 16 miles to Bruntingthorpe, which is a downwind leg. So we're going to get around this way, but I'm just going to keep flying this way a bit. Yep, and I'm going to be at 2,000 feet by the time I've headed off on track. That way somewhere. Okay. This cloud's our great hope. Let's see how we get on. This is a climb. What I'm going to do is I'm going to check the arrival height at Bruntingthorpe. Ooh, 940 feet. We're not going to need a lot of height. This is great. We're not going to need, take another 500 feet and then just get going. In a competition task, the final glide, calculating it and working out if you've got enough height to get back and then you just get going is really, really important. So when you're looking at the instruments, they tend to be telling you that really, really clearly, and you're tracking the flight along. Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'm going to climb. I can just read that arrival height there. And when it says, really what we're trying to calculate is the height around Bruntingthorpe to finish, which is right next to Husbands Bosworth Airfield. But I've just flown this flight multiple times, and I'm guesstimating that with something like 1500 feet at Bruntingthorpe, we're good to get back. And because I've got the Macready set at 3 knots, that 1500 feet, let me put it back with the pointer on it. Right, Bruntingthorpe, let's go. I'll just milk the lift on the way, and then we'll be off. Oh, hang on a minute, those heights were, I've got a bad feeling about this, those heights are above sea level. Yes they are, so I've got to take 500 feet off that. Okay, that's going to be a bit tighter than I was calculating on. So we're still going to go. But we're going to be a bit more conservative. So if I turn the, let me check this is all working, if I turn the Macready down, where was the Macready down? That one. There you go, a bit less than 2 knots. It's saying 1700 feet. If I turn it back up to 3 knots. Oh, that's interesting. It didn't change the arrival height, so it's not taking into account what we've got the Macready at, it seems. $1,800 feet, so we're doing fine. I'm going to speed up a little bit. I'm going to keep my eye on that height. Well, if anybody watching this video is stuck with it, thanks for sticking with it. Just a pretty regular cross-country flight with all the usual challenges in it. A lot of dolphin flying through this one though. But definitely the happy bit where you get near the end and you work out, no, I really do think we've made it. So Husbos will be over here somewhere, and Bruntingthorpe will be roughly there, somewhere like that. We're going to get to Bruntingthorpe, turn right, and that'll be Husbos. Oops. Okay, that was a cock up. See, so this little arrow here is showing the wind relative to us, which is nice. So it's saying we've got an 8-knot wind kind of blowing from behind us to our left, from our left behind us, pushing us along, which is exactly what we expected with a westerly wind. What height we've got? 1800. So with this, the kind of key thing is arrival height indicators. Oh, right, I think that is going to be Bruntingthorpe just there, if you can see it. Yeah, arrival height indicators get increasingly accurate the nearer you get to where you're going, obviously, right? If you're right on top of it, it's going to get it exactly right, because that'll be your current height. But the fact that this arrival height calculation is sticking to roughly the same number as we progress, and saying, well, we're a bit nearer, but we're a bit lower, and it still thinks we're going to get there at about 1750 feet above sea level, which is probably 1200 feet, 1300 feet above the airfield. Yeah, so we're doing absolutely fine. If we knew what we were doing, we'd be able to see Husband's Bosworth off to our right somewhere. In here somewhere. Okay, so it's still, so the height's improved a little bit, so we're doing fine. I'm going to need to dump the water ballast on the way down this final leg. It's not very far. Alright, 10. Alright, that's 10 gun lake. So that instructor might have been pulling my leg when he told me that's what they call it. You know, over here somewhere? Don't know. Alright, I've got to start dumping water. Oops. I'm assuming I was carrying water. Oh, we're good. We're good. Let's make sure I hit this sucker up. What? Oh, I'm within a mile of it, presumably. Time vert is another made-up waypoint. Thank you, Microsoft Flight Simulator. We actually want to get to finish. Oh, I'll give in. Oh, that's Hasbos there. That is Hasbos. So the finish line, there's a, I'm pretty sure that's Hasbos. There's a green field to the left of it there. That's where the finish line is for this particular task. Yeah, that is Hasbos and Sposworth. Okay, let's get going. I wonder if the ballast still coming out. Here it is. This is the best bit of the whole flight, really. That you know you've definitely made it. There you go, there's Husband's Bosworth. Finish line is definitely here somewhere. No flaps to worry about. Water, undercarriage flaps, speed, trim. Look out, landing. Gear down. Open the air brakes. Nice sounds again. Okay, the wheel brake. Wheel brake's not quite as strong as I was hoping. Normally the wheel brake will be strong enough to stand the glider onto its nose if you need it to. It doesn't mean it's locking the wheel up, but it will be you know, these gliders have disc brakes. Normally you can brake as hard as you want to. It's a question of how hard you want to bang the nose into the ground. Anyway, there you go. Thank you very much. Got friends. Great glider. Really, really, really nice to fly. And you know, quite a pleasure to look at as well.